Hello, Jen Rulon from jenrulon.com and Rulon Racing, that's right. Today, I'm going to talk to y'all about post-race Ironman Florida 2018 in Haines City, Florida. Remember, Panama City Beach is the original spot of Ironman Florida, but due to Hurricane Michael, unfortunately, the race was actually moved to Haines City. And first and foremost, I have to give Ironman Triathlon major props for being able to pull off an Ironman within 3 weeks. And Haines City and the volunteers and the first responders were phenomenal. So kudos to Ironman Triathlon Corporation, Haines City, Florida. Thank you guys for putting together on a race for us selfish triathletes. Because if you look at the big picture scheme of things, Panama City Beach did not get hit hard, but I know Mexico Beach got wiped out. I know a lot of other places got wiped out in the Panhandle. So my prayers and my thoughts go to the Panhandle. But I thank you, Ironman Triathlon, for really taking care of those athletes that still wanted to race and still was able to race. So today I'm going to talk to y'all about the race itself and what happened with me and why I am not happy about the race and why I am moving on from Ironman Florida, Haines City, after I do my blog and vlog. Now, this is going to be a two-part series, so I'm going to split this up as best as I can for you all because I want you to enjoy it, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed and be sitting on YouTube for 30 minutes. Because remember, this race took me about 12 hours and 35 minutes. So let's begin. Here's the thing. I'm not going to break down every segment in my race for you all. If you have specific questions about nutrition, about the course, please comment below and I can answer them, because not only would you maybe have the same question, but somebody else may have the same question. So what I'm going to talk to y'all about is the feels that I had out there on that course, what my goals were, what I did achieve, what I didn't achieve. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to break down every little step of the swim, the bike, and the run, because I was out there for 12 hours and 35 minutes. The swim, a 2-loop course. It was designed as an M. What I loved about this course was that I liked the 2-loop course. It was a wetsuit, lake, no alligators, as far as I know. And what I love too is that they put a timing chip in the middle of the M. So then people couldn't just cross over to the other side and cut. That was the great thing about this swim. Wetsuit, lake, felt nice, and I thought the design was very well set up. Crowded, but that's to be expected at any other type of swimming event in an Ironman. It's going to be crowded. I was literally pushed down from a gentleman because he had a green swim cap on. I got hit. I drafted off of other swimmers, and I had a great swim. I swam a 1:14. I was very happy with that. Oh, and I also got a leg cramp on the first loop as I was coming in to go over the timing chip on the beach to go back in the water. I got a cramp on my left calf. Earlier that week, I also got a cramp in the middle of the night. So something I need to look at in my diet is probably potassium or magnesium. I'm pretty sure it's both. So that's something I need to look forward to or in the next couple of months, because I want to get rid of that cramping issue. So the swim was great, very happy with it. Coming out of transition, the transition was a crazy ass roadmap. So you come out of transition, or you come out of the swim, go up to get your bags or your T1 bag, go into the changing tent, go out, get your bike, head out on the course. The bike is a two loop bike course. The roads were gorgeous. Honestly, I think maybe the last 4 miles of each loop were a little bit bumpy, but you have to understand, I live in Texas where there's a lot of chip seal, and Ironman Florida roads are very nice. They're very nice roads. The transition T1, I think it took me about 6:30. I ran, I got through it, I did my thing. I don't change. So I was, got the wetsuit stripping off, went off, took my bag, they dumped it out, helmet, sunglasses, socks, and then I carried my shoes to my bike because it was a little bit longer of a bike or a transition to get to your bike. I then got to my bike, put my shoes on, my computer was already there, my nutrition was already there. I had 3 bottles. First Endurance, 240 calories each bottle. The other 3 bottles were in my special needs bag, also 240 calories. I try to consume the 240 per hour. And then if I feel like if I need additional, I'll do water and Gatorade Endurance as well. As I was coming out of transition, they said, you got to cross the timing mat to then mount. I then mounted. I saw Mark Cerrone from San Antonio from Paragon Training. I jumped down. He's like, go Jen, go Jen. When I turned the corner, all of a sudden my aero bars and my wheel got really stiff. Like all of a sudden I couldn't turn very well. And I'm like, that's odd. So I kept going. I saw my mom and mother-in-law over to the left. They were cheering me on. I was smiling. And it just, even like, once again, I felt like the gear or the aero bars were off, but I didn't think anything of it. I looked to my right. I saw my girlfriend from high school, who I am coaching her husband, Jeff Anderegg. So Jeff and Tamara, thank you for being out there. I take off up the first hill on the bike. I look down, flat tire. I kid you not. 2 minutes into my bike, a fucking flat tire. I thought to myself, okay. And it felt like it had enough air. So in a weird way, I thought, well, I wonder if I could just take the CO2 and just pump it up again and just add some more air to it and then not fix it. So I tried that. Yeah, didn't work. Probably lost half of my CO2. So then I ended up taking about, and I'm not going to go into details on how many times I swore, how many times I just thought about quitting, how many times I wanted to just walk down the hill and talk to my mom and my mother-in-law and just say, you know what, I'm done, because, I'm 2 minutes into my race. Or let me rephrase that. I was an hour and 27 minutes into my race. I really was at that point, wanted to quit. 100% wanted to quit, because here is why. I went into that race. I didn't want to do a race to finish. I wanted to do a race to do really well at. And with me getting that flat, not only did my tire pop, but that balloon popped. That in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking place top 5 in my age group. I wanted like top 15 women. I even wanted, in a weird way, I wanted top 10 women. So I just sort of thought to myself, okay, Rulon, you can't quit. And in my head, I heard my husband tell me, Jen Rulon doesn't quit. So after I said a few more swear words at the tire, finally got the tire off, took the tube out, put the new tube in. Then I couldn't get the air in the tube. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I was like, what the heck? I already popped the CO2. Then I didn't have much air in there. I was pissed, you guys. I was pissed. Finally, I figured it out. I did not get a whole bunch of air because there wasn't much left in that CO2. I had one more CO2 cartridge and I had one more tire. And I thought to myself, if you use that CO2 and you get another flat, you're done. You're absolutely done. So I decided not to use the other CO2 until I got to special needs bay because I wanted to see, just sort of wait it out. So I was thinking 15 minutes that I changed the flat. It took me 25 minutes. According to the Wahoo, it was cafe time was 27 minutes. About 2 minutes was probably special needs, grabbing my nutrition. Here I was. I thought 15 to 20 minutes behind, when in reality I was 25 minutes. By that time, I already missed 2 doses. When I take a swig, it's usually 3 swigs. So I've already missed 6 swigs going into my bike ride. I went out on my bike. I stayed at my watts. Coach and I talked about it. I was looking at the 135 to 140. I was holding that until about probably 60 or 70. By this time, my nutrition was low, my calories were low, I felt tired. I literally could have laid down on the ground, taken a 10-minute nap, and then probably could have taken back off again. I had 6 bottles of First Endurance. I ended up taking probably about 5, and then the rest of it was Gatorade Endurance. And it's EFS Pro that I use with the First Endurance, but I ended up taking, like I said, about 5 bottles of the First Endurance EFS Pro, and then I took in Gatorade Endurance, I took in some water. When I got to, I believe maybe mile 80, I saw my athlete Jeff, and I thought, all right, sort of gave me a little burst because I know he went past me and he's like, oh my God, Rulon, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm good. I'm fine, just freaking go. So I saw him and I thought, okay, just gotta stay on your calories. I gotta stay on your calories. I had to go every 10 minutes and just really start consuming. If I felt like I was belching or taking in too much, then I took some water in to wash it down a little bit. Get done with the bike. And that whole time during the bike, I felt off. I felt frustrated. I wanted to quit. I wanted it to rain. I wanted it to thunder and lightning. I didn't want another flat tire because that was not fun. There were so many things that I wanted to have the excuse to be done, to call it quits. I did not want to finish this race, you guys. I was fucking pissed because, like I said, I did not come to do an Ironman just to do another Ironman and get a tick mark in my box. I've already done 13 of them. I wanted to go there. I was on a mission to have one of the best races I've ever had in my Ironman life. Well, I got done with the bike. It's 6:01 according to my Wahoo, but according to Ironman time, I think it was like 6:25, 6:27, which makes sense because of the delay of the tire change and then grabbing my nutrition at special needs. And what I have to say is that I was not happy with my bike results. I know that I was behind on nutrition. I was hoping to do a 540, 545 on the bike. I was hoping to hold 135 to 140 watts. I ended up holding 125 to 130. I was pretty low on watts. I also think a lot had to do with nutrition. So there you go. I get off the bike. I even felt my tire. At one point at special needs, I thought about taking that CO2 and adding more to it, but then I didn't want to pop it. And then all of a sudden I would be out of a CO2, but I'd have a tire. So I just decided to leave it. And that front tire was low. So I know that caused me to go slower too, because I looked down and I saw like my tire, like a little flat. Yeah. Anyways, so then I see my friend Dawn, she's running. I was like, Dawn, English. I go, I flatted for 20 minutes. And she's like, I had a mechanical issue for 20 minutes. And we're like, ah. So she was already running. She has a good swim. Then I see my mom, I see my mother-in-law, and then I get off the bike and I was like, oh my God, my whole body hurt. Like my back, my glutes, my hammy, like just everything hurt. And I thought to myself, how am I gonna run this marathon? Like there's no fucking way I'm gonna run this marathon, nor am I gonna finish. What's next? You'll have to wait for next week as I talk to you about transition 2, the run, the finish line, and why Jen Rulon doesn't quit.